Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Sunday today, and I am a few minutes late. I was on a weaving class on Zoom for the last couple of hours. So I kind of raced up. We finished at 12, so a little bit later than normal. So hopefully you'll join me. We're going to make a card. I made this card for a blog or for a swap recently, and I thought I would show you how I made it. It's using the patchwork dies and the deckled rectangle dies, along with the Masterfully Made Designer Series paper, which is really pretty. I'll show you the card that I made for the swap. I'm going to do it a little different for this version of it, just to kind of change it up a little bit. So I'm going to switch over. And I've got a bit of a different setup today because hopefully this isn't too blurry. Looks like it's in focus. We were live yesterday for a good part of the day doing a BOGO sale. So I kind of switched up my setting. Okay, so let me show you the card that I made for the swap. And on this one, I'm going to have to grab my plate to do it. So this is using the patchwork dies, and there are 2 of the dies in this. And so if you've got somebody who loves to quilt, or I don't know, it's just kind of cool shapes to make. Hello, can't see who's commenting. Don't forget to give StreamYard permission by going to streamyard.com/Facebook. Nancy. All right, so in this patchwork die set, there are 2 different dies, and what they do is they cut out. So I've already gone ahead. They cut out your pieces. So mine is, I'll probably never get them back together. So I've cut out a couple. I'm going to alternate them this time. So I cut them, like I said, out of the Masterfully Made Designer Series paper. So what I did on this one, I cut a whole bunch. Gosh, it's blurry. Sorry about that. It'll eventually come into focus. I'll change the light here. Oh, not that light. It's looking a little dark. Sorry, changing. I'm gonna move my light. See if I can make it a little bit brighter for you. There we go. Okay, so for this one, I cut a whole bunch of the pieces out of the Designer Series paper, and then I did a bunch of mixing and matching. And if you've looked at this Masterfully Made Designer Series paper, it's beautiful paper, really bright, and it's all done like collages. So I kind of just fit the colors back in. It didn't matter which way they went in. For this one, I cut 2 pieces out. So I used this pretty one that is kind of got some writing in the back, and then I used the one that's got a bit of the kind of the mixed media look to it. I just layered them on and fit them together. So I'm going to alternate them, which is why I cut 2 pieces out when I put it back together. I always have to have this pattern when I'm looking at it so I can figure out how it goes back together. So let's start with putting our pieces back together. You can use, if you have some adhesive sheets, I could have put those on. So like I said, I've got enough to do 2 cards. So I'm just going to pull my pieces apart. I cut them together. So I just want to. And the one thing to note when you're cutting them, if you want your pieces to be a particular way, so when you cut them out, they go like this. But if you're mixing and matching, you may have to kind of switch them around. And I know on my card, I ended up having them go in a different direction. So it doesn't really matter which way they go. So I'm just kind of mixing and matching my pieces. So I'm going to alternate these 2, and I'll have enough to make 2 cards. Okay, so this is my pattern. So I'm going to put them back together. I'm going to lay this here so I can kind of tell. And this is the piece. Now, I found it a little bit hard to kind of put these back together. And my glue is misbehaving. Oh, there we go. I had it open a lot yesterday. Let's get a new glue. There we go. I'm gonna fight with that. Okay. So I'm just going to take, I'm starting with a fairly large piece, and I'm going to line that up like that. I'm putting it in the middle, try to get it straight at the top, but the other pieces will fit around it like that. So I'm just kind of following my pattern. So we're looking for the piece that goes next, which is this one, but I want to alternate and use the other pattern for the other piece. Try not to get too much glue, otherwise you get glue all over the place. And I'm just kind of piecing these back together, which is what quilting is all about. My husband gives me such a hard time because I quilt as well. And he'll often say to me, but you're just cutting pieces of paper and or fabric and putting them back together. And it's like, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. It's kind of like the same of making cards. We do a lot of cutting of paper and putting it back together. So now I'm just going to take that, and now it's this one. You don't have to do this. You could use all the same, but I just kind of like the look of it being kind of a true patchwork. Like that. And then there is this little tiny curved spot or a piece. Come on. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I'm going to take this. Oopsie, which way? This one. Just going to rub some of this glue off and put it there. Got a lot of glue. All right, so then that piece fits like that. Oops, like that. And okay. So I'll just do one of these cards. I've got enough to do two. I'll make the other one as well, but you get the idea. Okay, so my piece is put back together. I'll move these out of the way. Okay, so what I did next for my card is I took the deckled rectangles. Now this one went back together better than the ones for my card, but I found that on the other card it was hard to get them actually straight, and this one actually is much better. So what I did was I took the deckled, trying to get the right one, I took the deckled rectangle and I just put it on and I cut it out. So I got that deckled edge to my piece. And at the same time, I cut, let's see which one I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. So I've also done the next larger size out of Berry Burst. So I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Hopefully you can see that. Just lay this down, and I'm just going to cut this rectangle shape out like that. Run it through. So we've got our shape cut out. Now on my card, I actually also embossed it. I don't know that you can see. I embossed it using the distressed tile embossing folder. So we will take those plates off. Just going to quickly grab the plate I need and find my distressed tile embossing folder, which seems to have gone walkabout. There it is. All right, things kind of are misplaced. So I've got my distressed tile walkabout. Hey, Amanda, welcome. Don't know if I said hello to Nancy. All right, so we're just going to take that, put it in there, and run this through, and then we can start putting our card together. Oh, put this down here. I'm always out of sorts when I'm kind of in a different spot. Normally I have a filming station and I stand up when I make my cards over there. Okay, so take that off. And I'm just gonna glue. Isn't that pretty? So for this one, I did cut enough to do 2 cards, like I said. So I've got one that will be bubble bath with berry burst, and the other one, when I put it together, will be berry burst with bubble bath. I thought that would be kind of a pretty color combinations. I love berry burst and bubble bath together. Oops, yeah, that's like that. Oops, I need to score this. So I've got my trimmer. So this piece is 4 4¼ by 11. Just a bit of a ragged edge on it, so I'm going to just try and trim it a little bit. And so I score it at 5½. And as always, we'll fold into the mountain using our bone folder, give it a good burnish. Hey, Roberta, welcome to Wyoming. Is it winter in Wyoming? It's quite a nice day here, although it was definitely frosty when I walked the dog this morning. All right, so that piece can just go on. So this has got a bigger edge to it, or bigger border of the card base, which is kind of pretty, especially when it's such a pretty color like this bubble bath. Like that. Okay, so we want to do a little bit of stamping. So did you guys save your little, this is the 1/4" strip. So I always save my 1/4" strips when I cut the edge off. So for the inside of a card, and so this is North America, they're 4¼ by 11. If you cut a piece of our cardstock into 4, it would be 4¼ by 5½. And if you wanted a layer, it would be 4 inches by 5¼ So I always save this 1/2" strip that I cut off. And I use them when I need sentiment. So I'm going to use the thank you. This is from the Gorgeously Made. So this is the stamp set that goes with this Masterfully Made. It's part of the suite that is part of the Masterfully Made suite. So there is this, there are dies, and there is some sequence. The word escaped me for a minute. So I'm just going to take and stamp the, let me just see how straight my thank you is on there. Sometimes I'm not very good with getting my label on. There we go, not too bad. And then I've got a piece, I probably should have cut a little extra of the designer series paper, but I will do that. All right, so I'm just going to take this and just cut at an angle, just to give it a little bit of interest. So you could put any ribbon. I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon. I pulled out, this is the sheer ribbon combo pack, and you get a roll of Bubble Bath, Azure Afternoon, and the yellow in it. I don't have any Bubble Bath, but I do have, I'm just wondering if, debating about the yellow and whether that would look pretty on here, because there is just a bit of yellow in my card. So it's either that or Bubble Bath. Anybody have any opinions? Let's see what the Bubble Bath looks like. I think the yellow. I don't know about you guys, but I think the yellow maybe would just add a pop of color. So I'm going to take it and say I'm going to do about 8 inches maybe, and I'm going to zigzag that behind my, it's probably way more than I need, but I'm just going to zigzag it, and I like to use Stampin' Seal. So I'm going to just put a little bit of Stampin' Seal there to hold my ribbon as I kind of zigzag it. And I'm going to have to trim this because 8 inches was more than enough to, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm just kind of got that zigzagged, and I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And you can hold it in place using the dimensionals. Oops, I don't want to put our sentiment upside down. And then I can just take and trim that off. So that's the front of the card. Now I grabbed a couple of sets of, these are the Tinsel Gems 4-pack and the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. So we'll see. The 4-pack has, we don't want the green. There is the pink, which I think is Berry Burst, and there's a yellow. So let's kind of look at those ones, which are the obvious choices for this card. Let's just see. Yellow. I think I'll use the pink. Got things stuck to it, so yeah. All right, so we'll use the pink from the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. All right, I do have a piece of basic white cardstock that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm gonna afterwards. I didn't cut a piece of the designer series paper, but I will do that afterwards. I always like to decorate the inside of my card, and I'll just put a strip that is 3/4 of an inch by 4 along the bottom for the card. So there we go. So that will be, that's the one card made in the similar way. This one I used the Simply Elegant silver trim, and then these are the opaque ovals that I used on this card, but it was made in exactly the same way as I did on this video. So there we go. Just a different idea, maybe kind of switching the designer series paper that you are using. So cut 2 pieces and kind of switch them around. It definitely gives you that patchwork. This is a great set of dies if you've got somebody who quilts in your family or friends. They would love these kinds of cards because that's really what we do when we're quilting. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Glad you could join on a Sunday afternoon. I will be back live on Tuesday at 2 o'clock Pacific with my sketch challenge, so I hope you can join me then. Don't forget to share your cards on my Facebook group if you're part of it, or if you're not part of it, the link to join is underneath this video. And share your cards and show everybody what you're working on. I love to see it, and it's getting close to be, can you believe it's almost the end of November? So it's getting close. At the end of every month, I go through and check out all the projects and do a draw and send some people who've shared their projects some happy mail. So if you'd like to be in that chance, don't forget to share your projects before the end of November. All right, everybody. Also, don't forget that the last chance sale is on. So if you've got some items that you have been wanting to get from the mini catalog that is retiring, there's some great deals on some items that are up to 60% off. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye.